that which I couldn't see but feel within the cockles of my spirit.
Right.
And that, from that point on, God taught me how to love myself first and foremost. Because when you love God and you love yourself, you are endowed with the power to understand how to love others. And then, let's face it, some people you have to love from a distance to keep from knocking them upside their head or blowing their brains out. Because there are a lot of people out here who are just twisted. Unfortunately, unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not quite sure which one, maybe fortunately, if we get through this journey in the physical realm, in the next realm we are blessed to enter, if we know how to love, we got it going on. I mean, life just gets better and better when we learn to love and not allow people to dump their false sense of love on us and try and make us believe that that's love. If it doesn't feel, let me tell you, no matter whether or not you are in agreement with your loving partner or not, once love is there, there's no conflict. Because you know what, years ago, I developed a mantra. And later I found out that a lot of people have developed that same mantra, but I believe these are people who live a God-centered life as I do. And that mantra is, I'd rather be happy than right. That's the bottom line. I'd rather be happy than right. And you know what? There are just some people who will beat you down trying to make you think something's wrong with you, rather than standing in the mirror and facing themselves and dealing with whatever issues is going on in their lives. And when we, as women or as members of the human family, begin to get caught up in other people's web of iniquity, that's where life goes totally out of kilter for us.
And I mean, didn't you have an acronym for love?
Yes, I do love lessons on the sistership page every day except for Sunday, because my meology program comes out on Sunday. So LOVE stands for life of victory and excellence. That's what love manifests, a life of victory and excellence. But you got to know how to love. You got to know how far you can, how close you can get to people when it comes to loving them, because some people just aren't where they need to be. They're too toxic and they come into your space. You ever notice how a person can come into your space who's toxic? Then after a while, you're starting to pick up those toxic attributes, those toxic behaviors, those toxic thoughts. Toxicity is contagious. And so what we have to do is gracefully turn our hind cheeks, those are the other cheeks I turn, and move away from people who, once we sense their toxicity, and I've gotten so good at it, I can sense it from a distance. And sometimes we try and help people who we love, but the bottom line here is, if they're not helping themselves, there's absolutely nothing we can do.
Wow.
We are not here to play savior. Salvation and transformation is God's job. All we can do is plant seeds and deliver message and keep it moving.
Salvation and transformation is God's job.
That's right.
Really, and I did turn my back cheek. If I don't know if you saw it.
Hello, girl. Hello.
Our sister in She-Wealth had put up a post that I reposted today. It said, ultra independence is a trauma response.
It is.
And I wanted to share in reference, because, and again, as women, when we it's especially brown women.
Right.
So so now I'm gonna go back to another happy moment that took place.
Okay.
So everyone who's one of our viewers and listeners and is following us, our home area is the Pocono Mountains. So for Pocono Mountain Association of Realtors, because I'm a broker and a realtor, we had our line officers election and I was elected secretary treasurer for the Pocono Mountain Association of Realtors MLS board.
All right. Woo!
That was a good thing that happened this week. And
Yes.
on top of that, I am the first brown person, not male, female, but brown person to hold that seat. So as well,
Awesome.
female.
Awesome. But you know what,
Mhm.
Tiffany, this is an example of what happens when we stay focused and allow God to literally guide our steps in the direction that we were created to go. A lot of people live miserable lives because they're trying to do it with this thing up here they call a brain that's already blocked by so much human nonsense.
Mhm.
So when we're able to bypass, well, first you got to see it. When we're able to see other people's craziness and rise above it and soar beyond it, it gives us a measure of power and success like nobody ever could experience or even imagine. So we have gotten as far as we have gotten because, number one, we are all God-centered women. And we understand the power of love. And when we're in the presence of love and when we're not in the presence of love, and when we're not in the presence of love and we allow ourselves to stay in that false place, dysfunctional things happen. So one of the keys is to see what I call faux love, you know, like faux fur, faux love. Because faux love is not love, it's something else, but you got to figure out what it is. You got to recognize what it is.
It's a hybrid version.
It's a hybrid version.
Which is not organic. Even
Yes.
if
And when you figure out what it is, you got to mute. You need to mute. When you figure out what it is, then you switch lanes on them. Ace, he shared the post yesterday, and that post hit so hard, and that post said, if we could spread love as quickly as we spread hate and negativity, what an amazing world we would live in. And that is so true. And I looked up and I said, that is so true. And we've had a rough week. I mean, for the sistership, Tiffany, I know it was Thursday, I think I came over to Bayroll.
Yeah.
And we were doing the tape and she had asked me to come over there. And I said, okay, I'll be over there. And I'm helping her with the tape that's over there. And I wasn't supposed to be on camera, but you know, she threw me in there. She threw me out there, okay? And she said, you know what? Find her some sunglasses. I know what's wrong. She don't have no eyeglass, no eyelashes. She'll be all right. Somebody came in with some eyeglasses. And I'm like, some sunglasses. I'm like, all right, I put them on. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. Put the sunglasses on and I was good. And we were rocking and rolling. And she was on the camera and I looked at her and I said, okay, you having one of them days. And it's just been, when you're trying to do something, the powers that try to get in the way is amazing. And even with this sistership, you're trying to, and I was just talking to Sharice about this today, when you're trying to do something, the forces that come at you make you want to just say, forget it. And there's been a lot of times while doing the sistership that I want to say, okay, can I go sit back in my corner? I don't want to do this anymore. Just because of the challenges and the people and the stuff that has come at me,
you know what?
Because of creating the sistership and the challenges. Just having to see people for what they are and what it is, and this moving along and you're aggressive, you know, but not understanding that there's a difference between being aggressive and being assertive and knowing, no, this is incorrect. And when you check someone on being incorrect, they don't want to be incorrect. So then they consider you to be aggressive.
They don't want you to call them to the carpet. That's the whole thing, because false people hide behind masks. And some of those masks include education, titles, degrees, what they have, and all that. Most of their masks are external things. They are not into going deep within the cockles of their soul and being authentic from that place. They think that all of their external achievements, which are not them, their achievements, they get it twisted, are making them more superior to other people. And that is something that is getting a lot of people caught up in webs of iniquity that's blocking their ability to grow and become the awesome human beings they were created to be.
So, and again, that's going back to Sewell's post.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, again, I get this position and it's like, ooh, you're a strong Black woman.
Oh, geez. Yes, I know that one.
Right. And a lot of times, yes, I'm going to say I am an achiever and a victim of everything you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, I have achieved educational status because I have letters behind my name. But this all comes from the fight and the purpose. Yes, I want to do this. There's this aggression and this ambition. Maybe the aggression sometimes is negative for somebody else is positive. I can't own your journey with that.
Absolutely.
But what I'll say, it also is a piece of feeling victimized and feeling like if I don't do these things, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm this brown woman, and in order to be the best hairstylist, I had to achieve so many levels of cosmetology licenses throughout the country, and teacher status and management status. And I have a bachelor's of science in business, and I've done this, and I've taken classes with this one and that one and this one, and I have certifications to say all this about me. However, I learned on the stoop braiding hair. There was no anything else. I learned watching people do color that was in kitchen beauticians. And that's the foundation. And when we stop having that humbleness about whatever our choices were,
bing, 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 bing,
then we never stop being a victim.
Exactly. And I always tell people that you are not a victim because you were victimized by somebody. You can choose to be a victim and spend your whole life not achieving what you have the capability of achieving, or you can say, at 19, I decided, and I didn't realize, I didn't put it in words at that point, but I made a conscious decision that I was not going to live a life of being a victim. Yes, I was victimized by my father and by the older brother of my best friend, but I had the choice of deciding whether or not I was going to be a perpetual victim, or whether or not I was going to take charge of my life and do the best I can to be the best that I could be, especially once I had my daughter. I didn't want to be a woman who spent her life on public assistance, who drank and smoked, and I have an aunt who did that, and she was an example of what I didn't want to be. So I love her dearly, but you know what? She created a very unstable life for her daughter. And my cousin, who died about 8 months ago, she went through hell. She absolutely went through hell. I have to say, the last probably 5-10 years of her life, she found a better place and space for herself. But the bottom line here is we have a choice. We can be a victim all of our lives, which is never going to get you anywhere, or you can recognize that because you were victimized, that doesn't make you a victim unless you choose to be.
Unless you choose to be. And I sell real estate. I sell high-end real estate. But the most valuable real estate is the real estate between your ears
Absolutely.
and how you process. And I know I was a child that had been hurt. I was a teenager that has been hurt. I've been a woman that has been hurt. And I'm a queenager that still gets hurt.
Hello.
That being said, what I do with that pain is the character of who I really am.
Absolutely.
And we have to go through pain, challenges, suffering to appreciate the beauty and the joy and
But
the
you know,
happiness.
absolutely. But you know what? The process of getting through it requires that we grow through it. You know, not just get through. Some people just get through stuff and they become survivors, but they sit because they're afraid to do anything else.
That becomes the title. I am a child that was abused, or I had a mother that did this, or my ex did that, or my children treat me like this, or my job is this, my boss does that. And then that's how we can maneuver and navigate the world, by having a reason to always be a victim, or to be sad, or to have someone feel sorry for me. Maybe the attention you didn't get, then whenever you're crying, all of a sudden someone hugs you, and that might be a high for someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's the only time I felt loved, is when I'm crying. So I'm just gonna keep crying.
I'm gonna cry my way through life. That's not life, that's existing.
That's not living.
That's
I
right.
don't know what it is.
Right.
Maybe it's I don't know what to call it, existing or whatever, but it's not living. And okay, so that was a high. Another high, which was the Thursday show, because, and I'll tell you the biggest high. The biggest high was, and you know I'm a wuss. Oh God, I'm glad I have on glasses.
Yeah, you are a wuss. I think we're all wusses. Now, well, I'm going to say, except Tiffany.
Not me.
Not you. Yeah, that is.
You don't want to claim it.
Yeah, I know. Well, Wednesday, we are creating the show. We got the show. We're supposed to do the show, and now all of a sudden I switched lanes again. Let's do it this way, and to be in the midst of Tiffany Coe, who was meeting me somewhere. Let me call a spade a spade. She ain't giving y'all all the stuff because she's trying to be nice to me. I was supposed to meet her. I wasn't there. Let me just call a spade, okay? I ain't show up. I ain't think about it. It was the last thing on my mind. That's how jacked up my real estate was. And she was
so
like,
FaceTimed her like, okay, where you at?
Yeah. And then I'm like, and the way she looked at me was with, I get you, don't do it again, but I love you and I'm here for you. What do you need? And it was nothing negative. It was nothing that to feel anything. And not only that, and that's why I say a high point.
Right.
She showed up as a sister shows up. Now, I'll go more into that later. But what I will say is I was chatting with Tiff and I said, because we got, you know, we only child problem children. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, y'all are.
And I think, and I said this to her, I think our ideology of a sister is the fantasy version of it. So when I got these two little girls that live with me in the house that I gave birth to, and I watched this, I'm like, this is no sistership at all. This is some horrific craziness. And I don't know what I would have done if either one of them was my bio sister. But during my journey in life, because you want that, what you think it is, maybe you think it's the Brady Bunch version of, I don't know, or the Cosby Show, depending on what age group you grew up in.
Right.
I found Tiff, just happened to be same namesake, and it's like we both are like, yeah, when I'm with you, I'm with you. There's no like, it's not like we're not going to make a mistake with each other, but we know that whatever mistakes we make with each other, it's not coming from a malicious space. It's coming just from whatever that day is. But we have a care and a love for each other's being and each other's heart. And I think, and again, I'm trying to grasp a lot because again, it's been a hard week. And I've been seeing some things that's just like boom, 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 boom. So we do the show on Thursday. She jumps in. She's part of the cast of the evening. And we had, again, this week, I think we have a president-elect. Do we? Did I miss something?
No, we do.
Oh, we do? Okay, I wasn't, because it's been, I'm Tiffany wrote out info, but this info has been off. So we talked with a Trump supporter, and we, obviously we have different sides. And let me tell you, if you get the opportunity to go on our on my site, you want to see this girl raw. She killed it. She killed it. I mean, I got so much input on how great the balance was of almost like
How did you get them together?
How did you get them together? And how did you get it where at the end it was love? And I said, going back to what Mama C said, we are human.
Mm-hmm.
And what does love mean? I don't think any supporter of any side, unless you're just out there, we all want love. We all want the same things.
Absolutely.
We're trying to see which leadership will get us there sooner.
You gotta look at it from an aspect of human. That's it.
The human aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So today we have this show. It's just, again, it's ladies just sharing, just communicating. So Tiff, tell me about your week.
I was sitting in the car talking to you, and you said, we get to pick our sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, you're right, we do. And I didn't think about it that way. But we, as only children, and I mean, I have a brother and a sister on my father's side, but I am an only child. I never looked at it as we get to pick our sisters and brothers, and we do. Mm-hmm. And in that aspect, I said, you know what? Tiff is right. We do. And when we pick hard. And when we are for you, we're for you. And that's a sistership. Mm-hmm. And some of my closest friends are my sisters. Mm-hmm. And if I've chosen you as a sister, that's it. Mm-hmm. There is no in between there. There is no going around it. There is no, that's my sister. That's the sistership. That's it. And there's no way I'm going all out, and there's nobody's going to break the bond, because we get to choose who our family is. And I didn't think about that until we had that conversation. And I said, you know what? I didn't think about it that way. And that's maybe why we go so hard when we have people around us, because we didn't grow up with siblings around us. So everybody actually thought that when I was younger, I wouldn't have any children. And as I got older, I started thinking about, oh my God, I don't think I want my children not to have siblings, because I was afraid that when my mother passed away, I would be by myself. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll have one, or then I'll have two, because I didn't want to be by myself. So yeah, I mean, we do, we choose. And I mean, I have friends that I've had for years, and we may not speak today or tomorrow, and we may not speak for 6 months, but they are here. Okay, so if I call them and say A, B, C, and D, oh, they're gonna show up, and you go, oh, where they come from? But they're around, but they know, okay, what you need, And there's quite a few of them, and they're from New York or whatever. But if I call on them, they show up. And there were certain situations that I've been in throughout doing the sistership where they're like, oh no, we got this. And when they knew that I had to recreate from the ladies' room and drop the whole business and turn it into the sistership, Regina, she was up in a heartbeat. and we turned it over, flipped it over. Tifco had me a new LLC in 2 days. You know, it was amazing. The people that are around you, just know that you have a circle around you that say, oh no, we're gonna do this. And you gotta watch the people that you keep around you, and just stay positive. Because when on those days when you feel like you just want to say forget it, those are the people that tell you, oh no, you got to keep going.
You got to keep going, and you planting seeds along the way. You've been planting seeds unconsciously. One thing I will say, being in the energy space of your mom, there's a prayer that is ongoing 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year that she has for you. It is an energy that is like, my baby, my baby, my baby. So that happening, you're always going to be covered.
And you know, Tiffany, as you talk, a song just came to my heart. And I used to sing it when I attended church in Brooklyn. And right now I have goosebumps. I'm not a singer, but it goes, you pray for me, I pray for you. We're all part of God's family. Something, you know, I mean, I gotta find that song. I think that's I forget who sings that, but I gotta find that after we get off, because that's so true. You know, when we pray for each other, and I think from the moment, I remember the moment I met you in person when you came into the mall and I was working at the art gallery. You came in there and we hugged and it was all over. I knew from that moment on, you were one of my children. I knew that. You were one of my daughters. And when I began to do create the ladies' room, and I had much dialogue about it in the process of doing it. You were one of the people who came to mind. See, and I'm a God-centered woman. If God tells me to do something, see, not every message you get is from God. You got to know what messages are from God and which messages are not.
I need a for that one. Yes.
That's right. If it's a message of love, it's from God. If it's not a message of love, then it's not from God. And I knew that this would build a loving connection. And I also knew that you and Tiffany would become sisters forever. And for me, that's important. When I take my last breath, I want to know that the people I love are in good hands with each other. And you two, the bond you two have created, it just makes me smile all the time. And one of the things I do to keep my energy at that higher level of development is that I stay away from people who are toxic. As soon as I realize there's some real toxic energy there, I move away from you. Why? Because it's not my job to transform you or save you. And if you don't recognize that you need to transform your behaviors and participate in your own salvation, then there's absolutely nothing I can do for you, because see, God is the first guidance that you get. And if you're not listening to God, you sure as hell ain't gonna listen to me. So why am I wasting my good time and my good energy when there are plenty of people who want the love that comes genuinely from every fiber of my being? So it is what it is. And we can stop making excuses for people. And that's one of the biggest mistakes a lot of people make. You make excuses, but you keep giving them the benefit of the doubt. You keep giving, and they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. That's nutty. That's nutty.
My thing is, you got one time, and then I switch a lane on you. Okay, as substance says, lane switch. You got one time. And
well, there's a statement from A wise person. Nothing left to fight for. My silence means I am tired of explaining my feelings to you, but now I don't have the energy to explain them anymore.
Absolutely.
Silence means I have adapted to the changes in my life and I don't want to complain. My silence means I am on a self-healing
Yes.
process and I am trying to forget everything I ever wanted from you. My silence means I am just trying to move on gracefully with all my
Woo!
dignity. So sometimes we get silent, and when we get silent as these strong Black women, because our organic nature is to keep trying with you, keep working with you, keep working with our friendships, our men, our children, our parents, our workers, our co-workers, our business consultants, our colleagues, our neighbor. We always like, well, and then we always seem to try to say, well, what did I do? And I was saying, and then when you get quiet, now everybody's problematic over she ain't doing this and she ain't doing that. And so, like I was sharing the other day with Tiff, you know, we're all, you know, it's this thing people say, I'm a work in progress, okay? And it becomes almost cliche, but it's not cliche, it's real talk. We are all works in progress. We're all doing things that we're real genius in, and we're doing things that we're not. We're trying to balance these pieces. And if you're trying as a sister to get a point across, the worst thing to do is to try to hit what you feel is my weakness without love solution assist me into my greatness. And it's like you hear these conversations, it's like, well, you did this, and why don't you do it this way? And why you don't move the way I think you should move? Well, maybe you're in your genius space with that movement, and I'm still learning. Process me with love, so I can grow in a space that can be great for everyone, versus this is your time to shine and make me look negative.
And unfortunately, there are too many quote unquote sisters who think they are superior to other sisters. And so what they do is try and beat you down in an effort to build themselves up. They may have a lot of education, they may have a lot of money, they may have a lot of things.
And it don't mean anything.
And none of that means anything, exactly. Because I gave up everything to be where I am right now. And I don't know anybody else, no friend, I don't know anybody else who's done what I've done. And it doesn't make me any better, it made me courageous. Because I was able to step away from all the external things that I had achieved in life to say, there's something missing. I'm going in search of what's missing. I had not a clue, did not know which direction I was going. I just had to remain prayerful. And guess what? God picked me up, brushed me off when I hit the floor crying, and set me on a direction that I had absolutely no idea I'd be on. But you know what? God is the greatest compass any of us can have in our lives, because when we have God in our lives and we feel that God-centered connection, the things that begin to manifest and grow and blossom and
you better preach.
Okay, let me go. Hey, don't let me pull my minister license out of the closet. You know what?
Let me tell you something. This is an ordained. This is Sunday.
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 That's right.
This is women conversing, organic souls and spirits, no script,
Mm-mm.
just love.
Just love.
So
And you know,
in that space, this is when, yes, preach.
yeah, this is Sunday, and we're bringing the light.
Mm.
And this is what a lot of people are looking for. They're looking for the light. And so when we let God work in us, with us, for us, and through us, the light of his love shining inside of us hits everybody outside of us. And we have to understand that. And you know what? I tell people I love everybody, but I know who I need to love from a distance because they're too toxic to be around.
Mhm.
They don't have my well-being as a best interest of their interaction with me. There's something they want from me, but there's nothing they want to give to me.
Unfortunately, with the sistership, you need to mute, Ma. You know, I think we started with what, 8 women? You know,
Yeah, we started with 8 women.
and there are challenges, you know, and I wish everybody well.
Yeah.
But as you continue to grow, personalities come out, there are differences, there are things that happen, and you see things for what they are.
Absolutely.
Okay? And I'm the type of person that I'm about my business. I will call you to the table. Let's sit down to the table. I want to see your eyeballs. Let's talk. If I'm wrong, you tell me, I tell you. We write it down. I call you to the table. And a lot of people don't understand that. But the problem is that the only way you get stuff done is if you all come to the table. Because see, the problem up here in the Poconos is everybody is he say, she say, and I don't do that. I say, come to the table. Let's sit down, okay? And if you can't sit down at that table, then there's a problem, okay? And I've called twice to the table, and twice to the table, did they not come? Everybody sees, okay, there's the guilt. In the story, I've grown up in the corporate world, so I know how this game is played. And when you go to the corporate world, when you sit at that board table, okay, when they ask you a question, either you answer it or you're fired. You know, you gotta be honest with each other, especially when you're playing with a team, and everybody has to play their position in order to win. No one is better than the other, and we all need to know the role that we play. We can't be, everybody can't be the head, everybody can't be the side, everybody can't be the back. When we started, we said Tiffany Rowe is a lead. We said Mama C is a lead. I'm sorry, I'm just not a lead, okay? I am a technical person. I know my position, I play my position. I know how to produce, I know how to do the technical stuff. And I do that.
I don't know how to do that. You know, I
To
don't know.
do it well.
I'm learning Google.
And I'm learning, and I'm willing to be teachable. You gotta be teachable in anything that you do.
And
I don't know everything. And I'm actually studying now because Tiffany Rowe and Bay Rowe teaching me real estate. And I'm grateful to be learning that part of the business and doing something, because you gotta continue to grow. You can't just, you know, stay stuck where you are. What else can you do? So everybody says, you know, you don't,
And
you
also,
stay in a box, stay in a box. I don't stay in a box. I need to move on. I do cosmetology, yes I do. I am certified in green smoothies, yes I am. And they say, oh, you're doing too many things. No, we have to grow in this world, okay? So because I know this doesn't mean that I have to stay just only doing that. Let me grow. Until I die, I need to learn, okay? And if I can teach it to somebody else, that's what I'm gonna do. But in our culture, we tend to learn it and then don't want to teach anybody else. But like we said and we learned before, that statement that was made by the vice president, our new vice president, hit hard. I may be the first, but I don't want to be the last. Hello. So when Trish asked me to train her daughter in nails, absolutely. Because you know what? I'm at that age where my eyes is getting bad. Let me train the next, I'm going to say human. I'm black. So I said, let me train the next black little girl to do nails. Because I've been doing nails since I was 9 years old. Okay. So you know what? When they were laying off and I got laid off of my job and got severance pay, you know what pushed me through? That I had my cosmetology license. I had skills up underneath me. So when I didn't have a job, I still had money that I could fall back on until I found the next job. So sometimes it's the skills that you have that will get you where you need to go until you can go to the next level. So I push every little child, everybody I know to get some type of a skill. All of my kids, yeah, when they leave, they're gonna have a skill. Oh yeah, you can go to college. I went to college. If you want a degree, get that degree, but please don't throw that degree at me because I don't want to meet you from a degree aspect. Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you come at me with your degree, I'm going to shut you down because I need to know who you are as a person, not what your degree says. That's
somebody else's idea of who you are. And that's somebody else's interpretation of who you are. Though the work you put in the work, I think again, we're caught up in a society that is like, when you meet someone, well, who are you? And I'm like, I'm Tiffany. And it's not like, oh, who are you? Yeah, I'm broker of record. Yeah, I'm a celebrity. I was a celebrity hairstylist for umpteen years. All these, I have this and this and that. I'm Tiffany. What now? Tiffany, like Tiffany Co. I'm not saying she was named after a jewelry store. I know I was. So we're multifaceted, like the diamonds in the store. And
absolutely
cuts and movement with us. And there's some stones in us that are flawless, and there's some stones that still got a cold residue. And we are just growing, and we recognize that, and we are trying to journey through this world with all of the information that was given upon us. And I want to also give a compliment that I don't know if our viewers know. And again, this is just three ladies chatting today. We're not in the studio. However, when we're in the studio, Tiffany Co. sets them colors, sets all this stuff up before my butt walks in the door. There's so many layers to what we're doing. And I think because maybe, I sit in the middle, so I look like the superstar. And no. The way I know I'm a star is because I've already recognized I'm amongst stars. And this,
come on, girl.
She brings it every week. What's the color? Next thing I see a globe with a rose in the color. I'm like, how many is there? What do you do? Well, I done went here and I did this, and she puts the jewels in the back, and it's election time in USA, and it's Queen Asia royalty. And I'm like, I can show up and just look good when I'm with this sister, and she has no problem elevating me to be beautiful and to look beautiful and to feel good. And it's your contribution. I got you.
Absolutely.
And happened to me on Thursday. I got you. And I don't know who's out there hearing or listening or receiving, but to have someone just got you. I had
that's awesome.
She come with the jerk chicken. I got you. What? And it was banging. What?
Don't forget the Johnny cakes. I'm a bread person, and I love it. When she makes jerk chicken, I'm like, are you making a Johnny cake? Forget keto for a moment or two. I gotta have me some Johnny cakes with that jerk chicken. So
I don't know who has that. maybe the world is spoiled and I'm not, so I'm receiving it in a different way. I don't know. Because I know I don't have that every single day. I don't have that a lot. So when it happens and you meet a person, a sister, a woman who has her own baggage and coming with love. So whatever the world did to her, she working through it because she coming with love. And it's not always gonna be the way you want it to happen, but when it shows up in love, there's an honor that is deserving. And if
Absolutely.
you don't recognize that for her, then it's a lack of recognition within yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to go back for a minute on a point that Tiffany was talking about. You know, everything that needs to be worked out needs to be worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it is not worked out, we leave ourselves open to repeat situations that keep us going around in circles, around our blessings, around everything that we're attempting to achieve. So, you know, it's very important that whatever is stifling our growth, whether it be with respect to the growth of the business or the growth of the sistership, we must bring it to the table and be women enough to sit down and say, this is what I'm feeling.
Yes.
This is, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's my stuff that I'm not dealing with, but this is what I'm feeling. And, you know, when you can sit down and do that and know that you're going to be loved and not mislabel it aggressive as opposed to assertive, because we must be assertive in order to grow. Otherwise, there are too many forces that are attempting to work against us. So we've got to be assertive when we are in the midst of achieving a higher goal, or any goal, but the higher goals that we're attempting to achieve requires authenticity. It requires openness. It requires a heartfelt communication. It requires love. And everything I said before love is part of love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All of that is a part of love. But the problem is people don't have it they have an external concept of love. You know, they read the fairy tales. They watch these love movies. Sometimes these love movies drive me crazy because we know that it's not really like that. There's so much that goes on during the process of building a loving foundation to grow on that people don't realize that because they've never been through that, and they're not coming in the relationship with love. They're coming because there's something they want from that person,
Yes.
rather than bringing love. When love, which is our natural nature, is the guiding force for everything that we do.
Yes, yes.
It gives us the power to recognize the who, what, when, where, why, and how-tos of what we're dealing with.
Yes.
And that's so important. And so we mess up because we start putting up with too much stuff. And then it just wears us down, tears us down, holds us down, and keeps us from becoming our genuine and true self, our magnificent and purpose-driven selves. And when that happens, you're only a shell of a person.
Amen.
You're
Amen.
only operating from a shell mentality. There's nothing inside of you that helps to grow you and touch everyone else you come in contact with love.
Okay, first of all, you took me to a space. I'm ready to do a hymn, okay? Whatever the usher march is when you come in, you got me there. That Becoming, which is the title, Tifco, which is the title of Michelle Obama's book. And
exactly.
And then the shell of a person. Let me tell you about the shell. Ain't nobody out here trying to be a roach. That's when the shell lives on top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where our shell should be inside, our bone structure. We should be fleshy and be
Mhm.
able to receive and
Mhm.
have water touch us and feel that and go through that. And a lot of times what you were sharing was having an issue with somebody, which I've dealt with this week, where they have a challenge and they don't want to give what's going on based on their peace. However, how can I make it? Why you want to dump on me? I
Mhm.
did something incorrect in your
Mhm.
spirit and in your soul, but you don't want to give me the opportunity to make it right
Mhm. Mhm.
for
Mhm.
both of us.
Mhm. That's that superiority thing working in that person. They think they don't have to come to the table. They don't think they have to be accountable.
So, with love, as a recipient of that myself, I have gotten to the point where I don't receive the problem that they have, but what I have received is prayerfully, one day you and I can have that conversation.
Right.
However, I cannot be responsible for how
Absolutely.
you feel today. And I
Mhm.
cannot be, and I will not be responsible of how this continues to build bigger in your soul because you wasn't able to express it or us work it or talk it out. So
Mhm.
however it moves you before and moving forward, I am not going to be responsible for that feeling for you. Because
Amen.
Absolutely.
right. I'm letting you know I'm here to share in your challenge and in your struggle. And maybe I am wrong, but I will never know about it. And you're not helping me be better by
Absolutely.
keeping it in this kind of way.
Right. Right.
My prayer for that person always is eventually we will get to the point where this can be worked out. But that being said, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Correct.
Woo, hello.
Not be here all the time waiting for that. Eventually, I will become
Quiet. Because my thing is, once I invite you to the table and you don't show up, I'm quiet. I'm done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me tell you something. My prayer list is so long that if I had to stand and call off all those names, I could never remember it. But God knows who they are. Because when I get to that point of being quiet, I add that person to my prayer list and I keep it moving. I pray for them. And I can't pray for them each by name because that list is so long, it would take up a lot of my time. And at 66, my time is the most valuable thing that I possess now. So I have to make sure that I use this time and make the best of this time so that when I'm no longer here, I leave behind a legacy of love. I don't want to necessarily leave things. And if I'm blessed to have more things than what I have right now, what I want most is to leave a legacy of love so that the people in my life say, you know what? Wow, I was loved by that person. She really genuinely cared about me. And I'm thankful for that. That's it. Legacy of love. That's what I want to leave behind.
love. And I think too, you know, a lot of us have dealt with, and the beauty, you guys have a beautiful um, existence as mother and daughter. And as a lot of the sisters may have or may not have that, but when we talk about those that don't have that and don't really know what unconditional love feels like, or feels like love comes with conditions, we cannot dishonor those. We shouldn't. I'm not gonna say you cannot. You can do whatever you want, but you should not dishonor those who are coming from a space of love. Again, we all make mistakes. Sometimes because you're so infatuated with someone, that their perfection is all you're looking for. And that is so unrealistic.
And
So-
unhealthy.
and unhealthy to all, to everything. Like, okay, when people, I get this all the time. I need to use your brain. I'm like, oh shoot, now I gotta go into the goddess Tiffany, because you're requiring the greatest pieces of me right now. So I have to get in my stature of waiting to share this information. And sometimes I want to be mushy too. I don't want to be that person all the time. When can you be that person?
Absolutely.
World. And if I don't get it right, I done got it right 97 point, what's Ivory soap? 98.9% of the time I got it right.
Hello.
But 1.2 is what I'm going to be judged on.
And you know what? I always say, that do not judge others is a little ambiguous, because we have to be good judges. In the Bible, Deborah in the Bible was a good judge. But when we talk about judging, we must be good judges of character, because if we're not good judges of character, we open ourselves up for all the people who are walking around being demonically guided to come into our space and disrupt our lives. So we must be good judges at all times. But one of the things I caution people about is never ever condemn other people lest you be condemned.
And always follow your intuition. Before we wrap up, I just want to say a few things. Because the rate of COVID has gone up and the numbers are high, the sistership has decided to stay on Zoom for a little bit. We will still be on the radio. Our show will go on from 2 to 3:30 on Sundays. You will catch us all on Zoom. For a little bit, we will continue to watch the numbers, and we are deciding on if there will maybe be just 3 in the studio, or you'll see 4 or 5 of us on Zoom, and we'll have guests with us on Zoom. So we've decided to play it safe. So you'll see all of us on Zoom. So you'll see us from 2 to 3:30 on Zoom. We'll also have the YouTube with Mama C, and Jane will be there as well. We also have Sharice, who will be with us on the midday tea, and some of the ladies, whoever wants to join us on the midday tea at 11. On Wednesdays, we do the midday tea. Okay. We also are doing a toy drive with the ladies of EED. We've joined forces with them, the sistership. We are doing a toy drive over at Genesis Radio. That's going to be on the 20th, but that is by special invitation, where you might see the flyer. The children should write into the station and to Mrs. Claus. And we will be picking 20 children who we will be giving gifts to. We are social distancing. You must wear a mask. We will send out special invitations to those who are picked, and we will have you come by to pick up your gifts. There will be, it's a special event. We got some stuff planned there. So if you are chosen for that event, you will be sent a special invitation to come on the 20th. We are also with EED, the ladies of EED, which is my good friend Sandria. We are also doing an event in New York City on the 18th, and that's like a first come, first serve. We linked up with a hospital facility there, pediatrics, where we will be giving away gifts there. And thank you, Sandria, for inviting us to do that with you. So we got a lot of great stuff going on. I know Bayroll also gives away to children. I don't know, Tiff, you can explain about that as well.
Now, just because I'm all over the place, Tiff, and I know these things. What month are you talking about? The 20th of December?
Yes, December 20th is when we will do, I'm sorry, we are preparing now. So we want the children to start writing in now. The flyer is out on Facebook, but December 20th is the event for the giveaway. But we are asking that the children start to write in the letters to Mrs. Claus now so that we can choose. The deadline to get the letters in is by December 14th. We need these letters in to start coming in to Mrs. Claus so that we can start picking the children that we are going to give gifts to. Again, we are wearing masks, so we're gonna, of course, we're gonna be smiling with our eyes on that day. But, you know, it's been a tough year, so we want to continue to make kids smile and try to make it, you know, as normal as possible, because we can't just stop the world because of COVID. So we've decided to do an event with the ladies of EED at Genesis Radio. Oh, we've got some great stuff planned. So we're in the planning stages. Sandria, the ladies of EED, she is an amazing, when I want to say decorator, party. She gives parties in New York City, knows all the major DJs and boat rides. And so I'm not even going to tell you what she's up to, but you'll see. Mm-hmm.
Well, our vendorship network is phenomenal. What else out there as far as Bay Road? What we've done, our office, our company has been opened. This will be our 4th Christmas, but 3 years. And we have been able, even from the beginning stages until now, to bless the children that are staying at the local shelter here in Monroe County with wrapped gifts. So we've been able to do a minimum of 3 gifts per child per year thus far. So we want to keep that going. And we're at Bay Road 3160 Route 611. And we also have the Allentown 4160 Hamilton Boulevard. And we have a New York office as well. What we do is we take in gifts, we take in presents. Then as a company, we have a wrapping party and we wrap them for the children. So it's not so much like a Toys for Tots where they're just getting gifts. No, we write down the child's age and gender. And the reason, and we don't have their names for security reasons, because the children are in shelters. Most of them is based on a domestic violence situation. So they're actually homeless for Christmas. And we are giving gifts to those mothers and those children so that they have some sense of normalcy. And imagine that, and in a COVID, climate.
Right.
So all of these different things happening. And so we really just want to pour our hearts into that. And I was a child who, financially, the gifts weren't like that. Okay. I remember wanting Baby Alive. I remember wanting Barbies. I remember wanting certain things that just financially wasn't really happening, and it wasn't going to happen. Right. So God has blessed in such a way, again, journeys. Maybe I wouldn't be so passionate about children, and youth with financial challenges if I wasn't a financially challenged youth. And for that, maybe if I didn't witness domestic violence, it wouldn't hit my heart the way it has. Maybe these journeys had to happen and I survived it so that I could become an advocate in some type of way. I'm saying that so the women out there who have their challenges and these things that have happened, you are so strong that you came through it. So now, how can we support someone else that is dealing with that or on a path with that?
Absolutely.
We are the strength for that individual. So it places such a warmness on my heart when I'm shopping. And I'm not going to say the name of one of my agents, but I have an agent who I love dearly, was at her last nickels and was like, I still got to get these kids a gift because I know what that felt like too. So I'm good with having a negative balance in my account this week because I know next week when I get my closing, I won't. But these children will never they need to know someone loves them. A community loves them. Yes,
Absolutely.
bad things have happened, but there is rainbows and sunshine out there in the world. So again, Tiff said what Bayro does, and of course, don't give me a mic for more than 30 seconds because I'm a but that is one of
You are
the
definitely my child.
I wanted to share. Another thing is too, we're gonna have a coat rack at Bay Road 3160, Route 611. I don't care. You don't have to tell us your story. If you need a coat, take the coat. I don't need to know your story. So anyone who has coats that they're not using, please bring them. Just make sure they're clean because there will be hanging and we will be putting the coat rack outside when we open. Anyone that needs a coat, you just take a coat. Just take a coat.
Awesome. Awesome. I feel so filled by our conversation today and so affirmed and affirming. And I think that that's what sistership is all about. Affirming one another and feeling affirmed and growing in the reality that we have the ability to be good, to be kind, to be understanding, compassionate, etc. with other sisters, and we can be, but we won't let other sisters poop on our lives because they have a misunderstanding of what sisterhood and sistership is all about.
Right.
On that note, I think I pretty much said what I've had to say for the day.
Well, we always love the pearls. I don't have on pearls. I think one time we need to wear pearls for all the women.
I think so.
Pearls. I think we need to come on with some pearls.
Pearls.
Absolutely. And I think Substance is still watching. So you know what? You know what I'm about to do, right?
And
We're the girls with pearls.
Y'all want me to twerk?
Substance is watching, I think. So you know what I'm gonna do.
Lane switch.
Y'all know what I'm gonna do because Substance is on. So we're gonna go out like this. And we're gonna see everybody later.
Woo!
Hey!
Come on.
No blinker, got the outfit. My two-seater me and my D's.
Hey!
Bastards run up the hater meter.
Lane switch!
Nation bottom feeders. High beams on, yeah, I see through the bullshit. Pull over my eyes.
You ain't pulling it.
Pedal to the metal.
Hey!
Ride Uber special, they can't get up on my level. No. But they say in my face, my drive is turbo, but this ain't
Hey!
Hey, so.
Thank you for watching the sistership.
Take mine in disguise as friends. Gonna make me revert back to hoodies and Timbs. Call up the man, I'm still tight with the clan that'll hop out of vans and won't be clapping hands on your
Bye-bye.
Flames on them. Shout out to your